welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison has told his countrymen playing in the Indian Premier League IPL they will have to find their own way home amid the COVID-19 crisis in India. Three Aussies, Andrew Tye, Adam Zampa and Kane Richardson, have already aborted their IPL season to return home as daily deaths and infections soar in the world's second most populous nation. Prime Minister Morrison was asked to respond to this statement made by the Mumbai Indians opener Chris Lynn. Chris Lynn was asking, he said, well, look, effectively, here we go. He says, I texted back that as Cricket Australia make 10% of every IPL contract, was there a chance we could spend that money this year on charter flight once the tournament is over? We're not asking for shortcuts and we signed up knowing the risks, but it would be great to get home as soon as the event is over. So, Scott Morrison said basically, Lance, that you found your way there. It's not an Australian tour of IPL. You are there as a private contractor contracted to your IPL team. You have a contract there. We will make no special arrangement to take you home. You found your way there. I'm sure you can find your way back. What do you think of the Prime Minister's statement?
Well, I don't have a major problem with it. I guess the players would probably hope that some goodwill could be exercised by the government, which, was possible. But the Prime Minister is very firm. These players make a lot of money. And they went to a private contractual arrangement to go to India with the COVID-19 issues staring them in the face. But I guess it's an issue of risk-reward, George.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued by the attempt by persons making an argument to try to get some equivalency in their argument. Because here's what he said. You collect 10% of what I make at the IPL. Therefore, if I'm in India and COVID is running through India, and when the tournament is finished and I want to come home, you are obliged to fly me back because I give you 10%. That it doesn't equate. It doesn't equate, Chris Lynn. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Yeah. So Lance, because we know you pay a lot in taxes. Yeah.
I do.
Yes, you pay Dr. Nigel Clark, the finance minister in Jamaica, a lot in taxes.
Okay.
Is it that one month, if you decide not to, you tell Sportsman that, listen, I want no paid leave for 2 months?
Yes.
Is it that for those 2 months you would expect Nigel Clark to pay your expenses? Because here's your argument, Whittaker. You would say, but Dr. Clark, I've been paying you a huge sum, a king's ransom in taxes for several months over many years. So you can tide me over for these 2 months. It is fair. Is that a logical argument?
Well, I would go through you on that, George.
Don't go through me.
Because you and Nigel Clark are friends.
Really, though?
Yes. So I'd ask you to work as my agent on that one.
For a fee, of course. In Jamaica, talking of Dr. Nigel Clark. Good one, Whittaker. The country's Minister of Sport, Olivia Babs-Grain, says the government is monitoring the situation in India. Fabian Allen, and tell me if I'm leaving out any names, Lance. Fabian Allen, Andre Russell, and Chris Gale are the Jamaicans playing in the tournament. No Chadwick Walton. So yeah, those three are it. Those three are they. Sorry, children. They, yeah. The England and Wales Cricket Board, meanwhile, the ECB is also watching proceedings, especially as it concerns the 11 players it has in the IPL, the ECB. With daily infections exceeding the 300,000 mark and the overall death toll climbing above 200,000, they now have the fourth most deaths in the world from COVID-19. India is a country struggling to contain a second wave of an infection that has crippled hospitals and overwhelmed health services. Lance, every morning I wake up and I turn on the news, and it doesn't matter where I watch the news. The whole world is talking about the situation in India. If I go on DW, the German-based news entity, if I go to Al Jazeera, then I come back to BBC, CNN, everybody, and they're showing these pictures of car parks and open areas, people making makeshift spaces to burn bodies because hospitals can't cope. It is tragic. But should the IPL continue as it is, or should it pause? And if it should pause, why should it pause?
Oh, that's a tough one, George, because the tournament means a lot to the cricket fans in India, and I guess in one respect you could say that it probably is something for the fans to look forward to, take some of the pain away from what's happening, because the pictures we have seen coming out of India are stark, a stark illustration of tragedy of colossal proportions, George, and it's very, very difficult to look at it And I guess from one perspective, you could say, well, players are there playing IPL cricket, making a lot of money and enjoying themselves because, they're professional cricketers. They enjoy what they do. But because of so much investment and so on, the argument could be made that, the players should, as Pat Cummins had done, offer some assistance in areas where it's needed. And maybe there is no strong reason, I think, to stop the tournament.
Pat Cummins' gesture is highly commendable, and there can be no criticism of it. And these are pictures that we're seeing every day when we turn on the news in India. Fact of the matter is, that's an example of an outdoor crematorium.
Yes.
People burning the bodies because the
no space
official facilities just can't manage the number. And we're hearing, Lance, that the death toll is being underreported. Not deliberately, we understand, but the explanation was some of the deaths from COVID-19. So if someone has diabetes, the bad type, and dies after catching COVID-19, the official cause of death now in the immediate moment will be listed as diabetic related or heart related, but it was caused, exacerbated, the conditions were by COVID-19. So on revision at a later date, it will be listed as COVID-19.
Right.
But those
but
aren't
not at the moment.
No.
Yes.
So right. So if you hear that there are 10,000 deaths per day, it could be 30, 40,000 based on what we're hearing. Fact of the matter is, Cummins' gesture highly commendable. Some people argue, and they'd have a point, Lance, that money is not what India needs because they have all the money, but they can't get enough oxygen because the facilities can't produce it fast enough. The industrial facilities who do industrial gases can't churn out the oxygen fast enough. And you have all the money in the world, but if you don't have enough bed space, you can't build a hospital in a week. Although the Chinese did do something very, very quickly, but it's just impractical. So the situation is overwhelming. I don't think the players should stop playing, but I think the IPL, which has appeared to be tone deaf, needs to say something about the situation at individual games over the loudspeaker system. Do like what Cummins did and try to open some streams where oxygen can be provided or bed space or field hospitals. It needs to do something because a part of the reaction, the negative reaction against the IPL launch is because the organizers have been carrying on business as usual as if there's no COVID crisis in India. People are saying, what the hell?
Insensitive
there you go,
to the
friend.
colossal
the
problems the country is having. We've had, I think, 3.1 million deaths from COVID worldwide. And between the USA, India, and Brazil, they're responsible, or in those countries, have had upwards of 40% of that 3.1 million. So these three countries leading the way at the moment with the issue of deaths. And as you just pointed out, the Indian situation is very likely a lot worse than even being reported at the moment.
Absolutely so. Oh boy, we take a break. When we come back, Zone Update 2 and much more on the SportsMax Zone. We're scheduled to speak with the West Indies cricketer Kesrick Williams, who's over there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They are holding up, but they are in a really bad situation, our brothers and sisters there. We'll talk to Kesrick about his experience and that of his friends and family.